All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekakodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for teaching us all this truth to rule well. I'm the brother Izar, out here in Leander, Texas. Okay, Austin, Texas. And, I just wanted to go into the book of Galatians, and wherever the Spirit leads me. All right, so starting out, this is Galatians chapter 3 and verse 13. Mashiach hath redeemed us from the curse of the law. Okay, and you have a lot of Israelites and a lot of Edomites, all right, that try to justify their wickedness, okay, and saying that he saved us from the law by doing away with the law, okay, but Scripture doesn't say that, so the reason why it says he saved us from the curse of the law, all right, this is Deuteronomy 21 and verse, what is it, 21? Let me start off at verse 22. Deuteronomy 21 and 22. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree. Okay, so when Yahweh Shai, as Scripture says, was hung on a tree, all right, which doesn't mean he was hung by the neck, all right, it means he was suspended on a tree, all right. So Yahweh Shai was perfect in the law, statutes, and commandments, right? So in the book of John, 1 John chapter 1, Salak, go right here. 1 John chapter 5 and verse 1. Whosoever believeth in Yahweh Shai believeth that Yahweh Shai is the Mashiach, and everyone that loveth him that begat, loveth him also that is begotten of him. All right, so if you truly love Yahweh Shai, you love the Most High, okay? By this we know that we love the children of the Most High. All right, check this out. Because Yahweh Shai said that you fulfill the law by love, right? So it says, 1 John chapter 5 and verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of the Most High when we love the Most High and keep his commandments. Okay? So that's what Yahweh Shai said, and that's what he meant by saying, all right, if you love one another, you keep the laws. You fulfill the laws, which means what? It means to keep. If you really love somebody, you're not going to say it by word of mouth. You're not going to be telling, I love you so much, bro. I love you so much, bro. Okay? You're going to show them. You're going to show that love forth, man. And that's something that Jake doesn't do. Simply just does not do, man. They'll show you love by going after your woman. Okay? They'll show you love by trying to take your job. They'll show you love by backstabbing you, talking shit behind your back. How is that showing love? That's the Christian way to show love, man. The way of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to show love is by keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, man. All right? That's how we show we love the Most High, and that's how we show we love Jake, man. So it says, verse 3, for this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. You see? So they're not going to be grievous to us to not go after a man's woman. We're not going to be like, oh, man, but she fine as hell. We're not going to be in that state of mind that Jake is in right now, man. You see? We're going to try our hardest to please the Most High. And by trying to please the Most High, what we're going to do is be pleasing to the world, man. That's why whenever the rulership of the elect is intact and is set up in the kingdom here on earth, All right, whenever the kingdom of heaven is set up on earth, all the nations are going to rejoice, man. Like it says in Isaiah chapter 2. All right, all these nations, they're going to go to the mountain of Zion to learn from Israel, man. Why? Because we're going to be pleasing, okay? Because it's going to be a pleasing thing, the way the earth is going to maneuver, the way the earth is going to be set in motion, the way the Sabbaths are going to be set up, the way the laws, statutes, commandments, the way the ordinances, the way the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua are going to be set up in the earth. It's going to be pleasing, and the other nations are going to realize that this is a righteous rulership, and they're going to love it. And they're going to love it whenever we come into their nations and we take in women for ourselves, man. They're going to give us gifts for doing that. You know, sisters and brothers have had dreams about it. You see? So continuing on 1 John chapter 5 and verse 3, for this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. For whosoever is born of the Most High overcometh the world. You see? And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. That's the faith we have in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. We're not caring about these carnal things. All right, Esau, Edom is getting ready to attack. All right, Jacob's trouble is right around the corner. The hour of temptation is right around the corner. The persecution of the saints, the persecution of the true church of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is right around the corner. You know? But this is the faith that we keep. Okay? To keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Even in the time of trouble, we're not going to be going after, we're not going to be going after Esau, Edom, and all these people, man. You know, and they're women, and we're not going to be going after any of that stuff, man. What we're going to be doing is following after Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Okay? Keeping the faith. Regardless of how terrible it may seem to, to some Jakes out there, that they're going to be struggling and things are going to be going and getting worse in the time of Jacob's trouble. All right? We're going to have a level-headed mind, and that's in Isaiah 33. So it says, verse 5, for who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth in Yahushua is the Son of the Most High, right? So this is 1 John chapter 3 and verse 2. Beloved, now are we the sons of the Most High, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that we shall, when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law, and ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin. You see, so in Yahushua was no sin. So when he was suspended, upon that tree, to be put to death, that was a wicked thing that the world did to Yahushua, man. So he basically, didn't do away with the law, statutes, and commandments, but he did away with the curse that would continue, our damnation. So the curse that would continue our damnation is not being able to keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly. But now through the faith we have in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we're able, to keep some of the laws to the best of our abilities, but yet keep the faith of Yahushua and still be counted righteous in the end. You see? I know that sounds a little confusing, but he that has an ear, let him hear. This is Galatians chapter 3, and continuing on verse 14. It says, it's like at verse 13, Mashiach has redeemed us from the curse of the law. And again, when did that happen? When was the law given away? In Romans chapter 9 and verse 4, it says, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the law, to whom pertaineth the adoption, to whom pertaineth the covenants and the service of the Most High, which means services, which means only the Israelites can serve the Most High. You see? So back in Deuteronomy chapter 20, 21 and 22. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, okay, that's the laws, that's the breaking of the laws. It says, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day, for he that is hanged is cursed of the Most High, that thy land be not defiled, which Yahweh thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. Right? So Yahweh Shai was put up on that tree, man, and Yahweh Shai was perfect. All right, so he brought that that humiliating death and made it a righteous death in order to save the elect. You know, so that the elect aren't cursed by the law anymore. Instead, they're judged by their righteousness. They're judged by their faith they keep in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, and let me see. That's 29. That's 28. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15, I believe it was. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And that's why it says that the Lord took our sin, all right, and took the curses of the law. Why? Because the law says if you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, all right, there's going to be a curse put upon you as a people. And that's why you have the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, in this destitute, desolate state of mind, okay, that are going after the ways of the world, that are going after desolate things, destruction, man. All right, that's where their mind is headed to, perdition, you know. But it was a law, okay, or it was a curse that happened if you didn't keep the law, you know. So since we weren't able to keep the law to the perfection, guess what happened? All right, we were put into curses, you know. We were put into these curses, all right, which is still in effect up to this day. All right, this is April 18, 2021. All right, from the time of the Exodus up until now, man, you know, over 2,000 years, over 3,000 years, man, over about 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, you know, 4,000 to 5,000 over 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, man, you know. So Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai set his men up, all right, to go out and teach, to preach that repentance, which is a remorse that you feel in your soul, man, in your spirit. You know, you feel like you did wrong by Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, and it brings you down and it brings sorrow upon you. But with that sorrow, it makes you try to be better. All right, it makes you try to fall back into the graces of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, which is by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. All right, reading, studying, fasting, weeping, mourning, renting your heart, putting away the old man, all right, which is putting away the wickedness that you brought up since you were a child, man. All right, and putting on that armor of light, all right, that garment of righteousness, you know, which is this word, this truth, you know, and surely, slowly but steadily, all right, you start increasing in the word, in the spirit, you start increasing in what is it called, in works, you know. But it all comes through faith. If you don't have faith but you have works, all right, then your works are nothing worth. If you have faith, you say, but you have no works, all right, then your faith is nothing worth. Okay, because those that stay in the way of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai and endure unto the end, those are the ones that are going to be saved, and they're going to have works, man. Like it says in Revelations 14 and 12, you know, and their works do follow them in verse 13, I believe. You see, so you got to have, you have to be balanced out correctly in the ways of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, man, you know. So that's Deuteronomy 28 and 15 again. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now let me read Galatians chapter 3 and verse 13 again. Mashiach hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree. You see? So Yahweh Shai redeemed us from the curses of the law. Now when you go back to Deuteronomy 28 and you start off at the top, it says, let me see. Whoop. It's actually chapter 27. And this is Deuteronomy 27 and 1. And Moses, with the elders of Israel, commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I commanded you this day. Right? So again, it goes back to only the nation of Israel is able to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right? So let me go to the book of Romans, since I made mention of it earlier. You know? So this is, going back here. Acts, Romans. This is the book of Romans, and chapter 9 and verse 1. I say the truth in Mashiach, I lie not, my conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart, for I could wish that myself were accursed from Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. Now this is Apostle Paul that is speaking to the Gentiles, or speaking, you know. So he's speaking to the Gentiles and speaking to the Jews, which are the Israelites. It says, verse 4, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory of the covenants. And what is the glory of the first covenant? Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and being in commune with Yahweh the Most High. What's the glory of the second covenant? To be perfect in the law of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, okay? And to be in rulership with Yahweh Shai. You see? To be a pillar to all these other nations, man. That's the glory of the two covenants, to be perfect. To be made perfect by Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and to have a kingdom established in righteousness and in perfection. You know? So those are the glories that pertain to Israel, not the church, okay? Not the heathen, okay? But Israel, whether they were called Gentiles before or they've always been called Jews, you know? So it says, and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promise. And that word service means to serve, okay? So we serve the Most High. We're the only nation that is able to serve the Most High. You see? So now going back to Deuteronomy chapter 27 and verse 1. It says, and Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I commanded you this day. You see? So this is Yahweh speaking through the elders, speaking through Moses. All right? Commanding Israel to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You know? So this is Galatians chapter 3 and verse 13. Mashiach hath redeemed us from the curse of the law. So first and foremost, the Messiah that came redeemed those that were under the law, that were cursed under the law. which are who? The Israelites. You see? So one, that proves that it's only for Israel. Okay, continuing on. It says, being made a curse for us, for it is written, curses everyone that hangeth on the tree. So Yahushua was perfect. He was made a curse, all right, to the law, all right, because Yahushua was perfect and he was still killed off. So now by us having the faith in Yahushua, which was perfect, okay, we're able to come into the fold with Yahweh and Yahushua, you know? And now, even though we don't keep some of the laws, all right, because in the laws, you're supposed to be wearing one fabric. In the law, all right, you're supposed to, what is it called? Wear the phylacteries, all right, in the law, which is, you're supposed to wear your phylacteries, which is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. In the law, if you see and know of a homosexual, you're supposed to put him to death. In the law, lesbianism is not allowed. In the law, all right, there's so many things in the law that you see. If you have a slothful child, in the law, you're supposed to put him to death. All right? So, there's a lot of things that we don't do according to the law. All right? But with the faith that we carry, in the time of the visitation of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, when he comes back to destroy this place, all right, the righteous, okay, or the ones that have their faith in him, all right, the ones that truly have their faith in him are going to be counted as worthy, you know? And that's what you want to be counted as, man. You want to be counted as worthy. You don't want to be counted as unworthy, all right, or unrighteous, you know? So if you've been given a few talents, what you need to do is flip that talent, you know? You need to keep laboring in the ways of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. All right? So it says, verse 14 now, Galatians 3 and 14, that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through the promise of the Spirit, through faith. Okay? Now, why is that? You know? Why is it that the Gentiles all of a sudden are able to follow after the ways of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua? You know? Which, according to Christianity, the Gentiles don't even have to keep the laws, man. So when you go to the book of Acts, chapter 15 and verse 20, all right, let me get that real quick. At the one Ratazah, 15 and Acts 15 and 20, all right? But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions, that's in the law, Leviticus 17, of idols, and from fornication, that's Leviticus 18, also Leviticus 17, all right? Also, also Leviticus 18, all right? You cannot have a homosexual, all right? You can't marry your sister. You can't marry your mother. All right, you can't marry a relatively close relative, okay, like your father's sister. You can't marry your father's mother, okay, that's your grandma. You can't marry your father's father, that's your grandpa, okay. You can't marry your daughter-in-law, okay, that's your son's wife, you know. You can't marry your father's wife. If he has another wife or a concubine, you can't marry that woman, which means go in unto her. Okay? Those are fornications. You know? The same thing as going into a beast, you know? Laying down with an animal. That's a fornication. You know? Those are in the law, which are given to who? Israel. So it says, and from strange things strangled, okay, that was also in the law. It says, and from blood, okay, which is also in the law. Whenever you eat meat of an animal, there's supposed to be no blood, because that blood is supposed to be set up for life, okay? That's what the blood is set up for. So if you kill an animal, you're supposed to drain it of its blood, okay, and get rid of the blood, and you're supposed to eat the meat. You see, it's not that hard, man. You know? So how come the apostles gave this saying to the Gentiles? It's because the Gentiles are Israelites. The Gentiles were given the laws, okay, because they're Israelites, and the Gentiles had to keep baby steps. That's why the Apostle Paul said, I speak unto you as unto babes, okay? Because these Israelites, all right, they were coming in, and the Jews that were already learning the law, they were already strengthened in the law, in the books, okay? When they received the faith, they were able to do a little bit more of a completed faith, okay? But the Gentiles, they weren't able to keep such a perfect faith, you see, by ways of works. So what happened was they had a council, and they were like, hey, the Gentiles do not have to keep the law perfectly, but they do have to start off by keeping it like this, okay? Don't pray to false idols. Don't eat blood, all right? Don't be a fornicator, all right, which is also an adulterer. An adulterer can be a fornicator, but also a homosexual can be a fornicator, all right? It goes wider in fornication than just adultery, you know? So you have to abstain from unclean meats, okay? You have to abstain from fornication. You have to abstain from blood, and you have to abstain from the pollution of idols, all right? False idols, you know? So verse 21, it says, Acts 15 and 21, For Moses of old time hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath day. All right, which is another thing. You have to keep the Sabbath day, man. You know? So it says, Then pleased it the apostles and the elders with the whole church to send chosen men of their own company to Antioch. All right, which if you don't know anything about Antioch, that's where Antiochus Epiphanes set his name, you know, which proves he was an Edomite, because it says that they shall call the land after their own names, you know. So Antiochus Epiphanes set up Antioch, and you had Serapis Christos that was preached in Antioch before the apostles, before the Lord, all right. So those that preached Serapis Christos in the time of before Yahushai, okay, were called Christians, you know, which they looked at Serapis Christos as the Messiah. And that's why that word Christos means Messiah. And when Yahushai came in the scene, all right, people started associating Serapis Christos to Yahushai. Modern day equivalence would be us saying Thanos. All right, Thanos was a representation of Yahushai coming back. Because when Thanos came back, he did away with half-life in the whole universe, right? That's the same thing that Yahushai is going to do. When Yahushai comes back, all right, what he's going to do is do away with... Yes, sir.
Are you doing all right?
Yeah.
Somebody called, so I got to come. It's nothing against you.
Right. I've had it a couple times before.
Okay. I've seen you out here.
Yeah.
I wasn't concerned, but when people call, I gotta come.
Yeah.
What do you do out here? I've never actually talked to you, but I have seen you out here.
Preach.
Okay,
That's all I
sweet,
do.
man.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Well, like I said, man, I'm gonna get out of here. I got another call anyways, but I get it. Okay. I guess
Right.
they were freaked out. I don't know if you heard. There's a big shooting in Austin.
Yeah. I did hear that. Yeah.
Take it easy.
You too. Have a good day. All right. So, agree with thine adversary whilst thou art in the way. All right. Lest he deliver you to the judge, and the judge deliver you to the officer, and the officer throw you in jail, man. All right. So that's why it's a wise thing not to, to be wise, man. It's a wise thing to be wise, So this is Acts 15 and verse 22. So like at verse 22, then it pleased the apostles and the elders of the whole church, all right, to send chosen men of their own company to Antioch with Paul and Barnabas. So if you don't know anything again about Antioch, that's where Antiochus Epiphanes has set up his rulership. or his city, I should say, you know. And he commanded the Jews to follow after the ways of the Greek. Okay, so after they followed the ways of the Greek, they started following after, they would have a little bit of knowledge of the scriptures, and then they tied it in with dirt, all right, with mythology and with all kinds of doctrine. Okay, so whenever they looked at this character, Serapis Christos, all right, and then they looked at Yahushua, they were like, oh, these are followers of the Messiah, all right, because their Messiah was Serapis Christos. So they're saying, oh, the Messiah, if the Messiah was Yahushua Mashiach, then these guys must be Christians. And that's why Antioch was the first place to call them Christians, all right, because of Serapis Christos, But that's just a little bit of history, all right. So in Antioch, it says, to send chosen men of their own company unto Antioch with Paul and Barnabas. Now, continuing on that thing, with us modern day, we looked at what's his name, Thanos, all right, in the Marvel universe. We looked at Thanos and we were like, hey man, he represents some qualities of Yahushua, all right. Now, if the end wasn't near, all right, and you have a couple of 100 years later, you might have Israelites that are going to distort it and look at Thanos as Yahushua himself. And they're going to start praising Thanos, and the followers of Thanos are the sons of Thanos, you see, instead of the sons of God. So, in that same nature, in that same genus, that's what theology or mythology, Salakia, what mythology does. It brings this characteristic of made-up characters, all right, and the characteristic of Yahushua, when they see it in those characters, they start following after it, and then they call themselves after those names. But that was the confusion that happened with Christians and Mashiachim, which are the followers of the Messiah, which are the anointed. And the anointed is the true church of Yahushua, which is the body. So it's the elect of Israel. So it says, Acts 15 and 21, continuing on, it says, every city that's seen that preach them, so like in verse 22 on, to send chosen men of their own company to Antioch, all right, to teach them to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. It says, with Paul and Barnabas, namely Judas, surnamed Barsabbas, and Silas, chief among chief men among the brethren. All right, so they sent strong men down to Antioch, okay, to teach them of the law, statutes, and commandments that they had to keep. You see? So the law, statutes, and commandments weren't done away with, all right, but instead they were set up as a, as a thing that you have to, a starter pack, for instance, They'll start them off by, okay, well, you don't have to keep the Sabbath day perfect and know exactly when each Sabbath day is. Like me, for myself, when I first came into this truth, I didn't know exactly when every Sabbath was, But I would pay attention to the elders, to the apostles. Okay, a Sabbath is this day. Okay, the new moon, that midnight to the evening to the next evening. That new moon, that's the new moon. All right, which is the new Sabbath, because the new moon is likened unto a Sabbath, according to the book of Amos, chapter 8. So you will look at that and you say, okay, and then 7 days after, that's the first Sabbath, and then 7 days after that, that's another Sabbath. And then 7 days after that, that's another Sabbath. That's 3 Sabbaths. And then the 7 days after that, that's another Sabbath. So in 1 month, you have the new moon, which is the beginning of the month, 1 Sabbath, 2 Sabbath, 3 Sabbath, and your 4th Sabbath. Okay? And that's 1 month. And then you have a day. Okay, you have a day. And then after that day, and then after that day, all right, so you have, Yahushua works in beautiful ways, man, and you can tell that everything is moving faster, all right, because today, out of all days, I'm seeing people that are bosses and leaders in where I work, okay, and Yahushua is going to start pushing that forward so they know who we are, man, so that's through the Spirit. So Kahala Yahushua Bahashim Kakudash. The one Ratazai keeps me in that spirit, But you have, going back Galatians chapter 3 and verse 14, it says that the blessings of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. Okay, so now the promise of the Spirit is what? Jeremiah chapter 31 and 31, which is on down to verse 35, I believe. All right, but it's the keeping of the law, statutes, and commandments, all right, in our inward parts, which is going to be given to us by the Most High in those new bodies, those glorified bodies, So in those glorified bodies that Yahweh Shai is going to give us whenever he comes back, all right, that's when we're going to be able to keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly, And if we keep those perfectly, then guess what happens, man? All right, we're going to be set up as a rulership on the earth, So all this stuff that we see now, our jobs, our bosses, there's officers, okay? All these things are family members that come up against this truth, people that come up against this truth. The Most High is going to do away with all of that, okay? And we're going to be seen as gods on the earth, starting with Yahweh the Most High being the Most High God, and then Yahweh Shai, and then King David, and so on and so forth, man. So Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is setting this up right now, man. You have these motions that are being set right now. Demons are coming out, jumping on people. All right, you have this shooter in Austin, like this officer just mentioned that I heard about earlier. All right, you have all these things that are happening, man. And if your eyes are closed, you're not going to be able to see it. You're going to miss it. It's going to go right by you. So these things that we're seeing right now, man, I saw 2 bosses and I saw an officer. Okay, so now those are 3 witnesses that see that I'm out here in the highways and byways. And Adawan Ratzazah Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has me set up as one of the elect. Okay, but those things right there are for a witness. Okay, so later on when they ask me of my faith and say, why were you out there preaching? I'm going to tell them. Okay, that's what was commanded of me, to go out and teach to the children of Israel. So, hey, man, Jacob's trouble is right around the corner, man. You had that Edomite that the elder apostle Gabar went into, all right, talking about how he had that weapon on him, and he said, get ready, lock and load, get ready, and this and that. We're coming for you, all right? Those are things that are coming in the Jacob's trouble, race wars, So, hey, these things that are happening, man, they're moving quickly, all right? And if you're not getting with the program, you're going to be left behind, man, all right? Like the elder Yaquab, all right, the elder of our elder apostle Tahar said, if a nigga don't get it, we're moving on, man. So if you don't get it, that this is about Israel, this is about coming back to our power, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, like it says in Joel chapter 2, verse 12, then you're going to be left behind, man. You're going to either eat a bullet by these Edomites, all right, get in a fight by these Edomites, get jumped by these Edomites, get broken by these Edomites, all right, get cut up and eaten by these Edomites, okay? Or you're going to eat a missile, man, Or Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to have you eat one of the flaming breath of the, what is it called? Of the chariots, man. So, hey, man, now is the time to wake up. Let me get that. Because right now is the time to wake up out of sleep, man. This is the book of, went too far. Book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. All right. 13, skip one more page. Romans 13 and 11. And that knowing the time, all right, what is the time? Jacob's trouble, man. All right, that is the time of trouble. And that knowing the time, so now that you know that that time is coming and it's right around the corner, it says that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So that means that this thing that's happening, all right, it started with Yahweh Shai coming to the scene. Okay, in Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 1, it says, in these last days has Yahweh Shai spoken unto us. Okay, because the Most High has always spoken through his prophets, through his men. Now, yeah, he spoke through Yahweh Shai, the elect, Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, okay, to his elect, and now he's speaking through the elect to the remnant. You see what I'm saying? So right now, knowing the time, we know the time that's coming. We know that time of trouble. We know the RFID chip being implemented is the mark of the beast. All right. We know the jab is a prelude, a predecessor to the mark of the beast. Okay. We know that Esau Edom is the damn devil. Okay. We know that Yashar Allah, the elect Zion, is going to be in rulership. We know that we're going to win. We know that we have Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. We're on his side. And if we're on his side, nobody is against us. All these things that we know, we come out and preach and teach for a reason. Okay. It says, for now our salvation is nearer than when we believe. The night is far spent. Okay. And when the night is far spent, that means what? It's noonday. Okay. And when it's noonday, it's the brightest out. Okay. So if it's the brightest outside right now, okay, and you're looking and you're seeing, then what does that mean, man? That means Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is about to come. Okay. It says, let us therefore cast off the works of darkness. Okay. So cleaning your mind, you know, not thinking like these you know, 2/3 Christians, man, you know, these fake churches. All right, saying that the law is done away with. You can eat pork. You can eat what you want to eat. You can eat this. You can eat that. You can do whatever you want to do. The Lord loves you. And that's not true, man. You know? So you got to cast off those works of darkness. All right? You got to pull down pulling down a stronghold, as scripture says. You know? It says, and let us put on the armor of light, which is what? This truth, this wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding that we've been given to by Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai through his men. Okay, so let me get this one now. Book of Ezekiel and also Book of Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 12 and 2. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. All right, ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. So if you were, all right, if you were Gentiles, it doesn't mean that, all right, you were of the nation of Edom and now you're an Israelite. All right, if ye were Gentiles, it means that you were an Israelite. All right, you went after the ways of the Gentiles, okay, and you followed and pursued after the Gentiles, calling yourself after the name of the Gentiles when you were an Israelite the whole time. And whenever you come back into the fold, grafted back in, redeemed, all right, re means again, deemed is to gain. All right, so when the Most High gains you again, okay, you know that you were a Gentile, right? And that's what's happening to us. You know, whenever we came into this truth, we weren't born knowing that we were Israelites. We weren't born knowing that the new moon was the new Sabbath. 7 days after that, you know, for 4 weeks were the Sabbath days, and the new moon was a day after. And we didn't know any of that, okay? We didn't know that eating pork was against the law, all right? We didn't know that we were Israelites, okay? But now, by way of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, are we coming back into our power? And like it says in Judges chapter 5, verse 10 on down, all right, we're rehearsing the righteous acts, okay? So by rehearsing, what are we doing? All right, we're putting away the ways of darkness, and we're putting on that armor of light, rehearsing until those perfect bodies come. And in Jeremiah 31 on down, we can finally keep the laws, statutes, and commandments and everything to the perfection. But for now, what we're doing is practicing, rehearsing. You see? So you know that you were Gentiles. 1 Corinthians 12 and 2. All right? So it says, ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. And that word Gentiles is Strong's G 1484, a multitude of individuals of the same nature or genus. Okay? So a multitude of individuals of the same nature or genus. Okay? What is the genus of an Israelite? Of the seed of Jacob, of the seed of Abraham, all right, of the seed of Isaac. You know? So the sons of Abraham are the sons of Isaac, are the sons of Jacob. You see? Those are the Israelites to whom pertaineth the adoption. All right, so when you're adopting somebody, or when the Most High adopted the elect, he didn't adopt of every nation. He adopted the Israelites scattered to every nation. You see? So it says back in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15, it says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." Right? And that's what we saw. So Ezekiel chapter 20, and that's why you had a lot of Israelites that wanted to become like the other nations. Why? Because they were tired, because they were selfish, because they were idiots. All right, to put it in a more precise sense. All right, we were idiots. All right, and we didn't think, man, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments is grievous to us. We don't want to keep it anymore. All right, we want to go after the ways of the Gentiles. Look at the Gentiles, man. They have so much fun eating that pork. They have so much fun being wicked and having orgies and popping men and popping this and popping that and doing this and doing that. And that's how our people fell. You know? So our people started thinking, oh, if we're Gentiles, we can act like the Gentiles, thinking that they can put away their heritage, man. You know? So this is the book of Ezekiel. Salakia, let me try and get it. Job, Psalms, Jeremiah. This is Ezekiel chapter 20. Salakia, bear with me, Babakusha. I believe it was 20 and 32. If I'm not mistaken. Yep. This is Ezekiel 20 and 32. It says, "And that which cometh into your mind," talking to the Israelites, "shall not be at all. That ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone." And that's what Israel wanted. They just wanted the easy life. They didn't want to struggle and think about what they were going to do next. Damn, is it okay if I do this? Man, is it okay if I do that? Every person that I've taught, all right, or every person that I've mentioned of the truth, all right, one of the first comments that they tell me is, every time I do something, I can't stop thinking, is this okay with the Most High? Because that's the way it's supposed to be, okay? But there comes a point where they're like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, all right? And they fall out of the graces of the Most High, which is that parable with the seed and the sower, you know, and Mark, I believe either Mark 4 or Matthew 4, you know? That thing with the seed and the sower, that's what happens. Sometimes it falls on an unholy ground, all right? An unnurtured ground, an unnurturable ground, okay? Ground that cannot nurture. And what it does is it burns away, withers away, or it chokes away, or whatever the case may be, but it falls away from the light of being beautiful. You know? It falls short. You see? So that's one of the things that happened to Israel back then, man. And now they look at all these things that we have to do, and they're like, man, that's doing too much. You know? What, you can't go into a woman that's already married? Man, that's too much. All right? What, I can't be a sodomite? Man, that's too much. What, I can't date lesbians? That's too much. What, I can't eat pork? I can't give up that pork chop? That's too much. And that's what happened with Israel, man. You know? So in Galatians chapter 3, when Yahweh Shai lifted us, all right, from the curse of the law, it does not mean that Yahweh Shai said, you know what, screw the law, man, do whatever you want, just say, you know me, and you can get into the club. You know, that's not how the Most High set it up, man. The Most High is all about order, all right? And the Most High, a God that is about order, is not going to have disorder, okay, in his church. He's not going to have disorder in his congregation, you know? So when I talked about last time, you know, I believe it was like 3 days ago, about Satan and the Most High, it's not talking about a disorder, okay? Even in the chaos, the Most High has order. So the spiritual demon Satan is not against the Most High. He's doing the will of the Most High, all right? And the physical counterpart, Satan, Esau, Edom, is doing the will of the Most High too, being the wicked of the earth, which is in Romans chapter 9, you know? So, hey, man, the Most High has everything set up in perfect motion, okay? So these things that we're seeing to come to pass nowadays, all right, are going to be, all right, for the elect. So the elect can go through certain things, all right, and be led into being perfected, you know? So it says, 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 3, wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of the Most High calleth Yahushai accursed. All right, Yahushai is not accursed. Okay, it says, and that no man can say that Yahushai is the Lord, but by the Holy Spirit. Okay, so Yahushai was not accursed. Okay, he wasn't cursed. Okay, but he was breaking, what is it called? Breaking that fallow ground. Okay, when Yahushua was put up to death, you know, and then he was resuscitated. All right, can't say it in English, man. You know, resuscitated. All right, whenever Yahushua was brought back to life, you know, Yahushua was brought back to life, and that finished the story, man. All right, Yahushua is now the Messiah. You know, it was finalized, and now that he was brought back. All right, now the elect that follow after Yahweh Hashem Yahushai are going to be brought back too, quickened by the Spirit, you know? So it says, jumping down to verse 13, it says, for by one Spirit, all right, 1 Corinthians 12 and 13, for by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, by the Spirit, not by the water. Okay, which is the Spirit of truth, which is this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, which is Yahweh, which is Yahushai. Okay, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit. For any body is not one member. All right, for the body is not one member. Okay, so we're not all gonna look the same and be as tall as each other. All right, and speak the same and have the same teeth and have the same. That's not what that means. Just like Yahushai and Yahweh, okay, are not the same person. That's basically what that's saying. All right, it says, for the body is not one member, but many. All right, so the Spirit, Yahushai and Yahweh, or Yahushai and Yahweh are separate entities. You know, so back in Galatians 3 and verse 15, it says, brethren, I speak after the manner of men, though it be but a man's covenant, yet if it be confirmed, no man disannulleth or addeth thereto. And what did the Most High say? All right, if you can number the stars, okay, if you can count the grains of the sea, okay, if you can measure the earth, if you can measure the depth of the sea, Israel as a nation will be done away with. And that's why Esau, Edom tries to search out the seas, tries to search out the heavens, okay, tries to search out everything he can to do away with Israel. But he can't, and he never will, because the Most High chose the nation of Israel, all right, to be his elect. And out of that elected nation, there's a remnant called the elect. And that remnant called the elect, okay, are the ones that are going to see salvation. And they're ones that are going to see a kingdom come into fruition. And out of that elect is going to come the rest of the nation of Israel. All right. And out of Israel shall go forth the word. And the word is going to teach all the other nations outside of Israel that was made perfect by Yahweh and Yahushai. You know? So it says, verse 16, now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed in Mashiach. All right? Not as of many seeds, but as of one, which is out of the nation of Israel. You know? And to thy seed, that means the seed of Israel, all right, came Yahawashi. That word seed in the Greek, I believe, is sperma. Let me see if I can find it. You know, bear with me. Let me get the blue letter. Sperma. See if I can find it, because that's a difficult task, you know. You got to know a little bit of Greek. And my Greek is not as good as my Hebrew. All right, so let's look at the word sperma. Abracadabra. So it should be elemental. So sperma. Sperma, all right, and that's Strong's G4690. It says sperma from 4687, something sown, seed, the male sperm. Okay, so it's talking about the seed of Israel. It's talking about the male sperm of Israel, which it started with Jacob, all right, and then it went to his 12 sons, the 12 patriarchs. All right, and out of the nation of, out of the patriarch Issachar, down the lineage of our fathers, the sperm, all right, I came out, all right, because I consider myself of the nation of Issachar, of the nation of Israel, because each tribe is basically its own nation, you know. So I am a direct descendant of Issachar. That's what I believe. That's my faith, and it's not by paperwork, not by genealogy, okay, but by faith, you know. So again, that word sperma, all right, down here, all right, Strong's G4690, all right, that word sperma, you know, if it's not backwards on the thing, it says something sown, seed, the male sperm, by implication, offspring, all right, a remnant, all right. It says, as if kept over the planting, sperma akin to, all right, spado, to sow. You see? So it has the following usages: agricultural and botanical. Going down, it says 3a of natural offspring, you know. And what was that? Galatians 3:16, all right, sperma, right there. Galatians 3:16, all right. So that word sperma is sperm, which is the seed line. So the sons of Jacob, or the sons of Abraham, the sons of Isaac, the sons of Jacob, all right, of the 12 sons, by the fathers came Yahawashi, by the fathers came Izar, by the fathers came the elder apostle Tahar, by the fathers came the elder apostle Gabar, by the fathers, the sperm, all right, came the elder apostle Rakah, the elder apostle Aramlab, the elder Yashawamba, all right, the brother Yabataza, all right, the brothers, man, you know. So that's what that word really represents, and that's what that word means. So it didn't come as of seed, as of many, okay, out of all the nations. It's talking about as of one, which came from Israel, being Jacob, all right, being King David in the reincarnation, all right, which later known as Israel, you know. Jacob was later known as Israel, and out of Israel, that one seed line, came all of us, and out of all of us, all right, came Yahawashi, and out of Yahawashi came us by the faith that we carry, by the faith that we preach. You know, so it's not as a seed as of many, but as of one, out of the nation of Israel. and out of the nation of Israel is going to come salvation. So this is Deuteronomy 33 and verse 26. There is none like unto the God of Jeshurun. And that word Jeshurun is Yasharwan in the Hebrew, which means upright one, which is the ideal way of Israel. Okay, upright. Why? Because Israel is going to be the leader of all the nations. All right, so if you're going to be a leader of all the nations, you have to be upright in order to be righteous, right? So it says, who rideth upon the heaven in thy help, and in his excellency on the sky, which is the chariots, the so-called UFOs. That's what the Most High is bringing back when he comes back in the book of Ezra, 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and 2nd Ezra chapter 13. It tells you all about the chariot that Yahweh Shai flew upon. You know, the fathership. So it says, the eternal God is thy refuge, talking about Israel, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them, which is talking about Esau, Edom. All right, when Yahweh Shai comes back and he gives us those glorified bodies, all right, and then the angels are destroying things, Babylon the Great is destroyed, all right, Yahweh Shai is going to give us the power, all right, to come down in glorified bodies and destroy these other Edomites, man. Put them into captivity. Bullets are going to be bouncing off of us. All right, those what do they call them? Those rocket launchers. All right, when they throw it at us, it's gonna hit us and it's gonna explode, and we're gonna walk out of the smoke unscathed. You know, that type of stuff, man. Superhero stuff is gonna happen to Zion, okay, to the elect of Israel, the 144,000 elect men. You see? And that's that beautiful thing that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai already gave us in the wisdom, knowledge, understanding. You know? So now all we're doing is fighting for that cause, man. Like it says in 2nd Ezra chapter 2. You know? And I commended them which stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. You see? And that's what we're doing. We're standing stiffly no matter how many people we know come by us and say, man, what the hell are you doing out here? Saying this, this, and that. All right? We're going to stay fixed in the faith of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Hada one Ratazah. Lord willing, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai has me keeping this faith forever, man. So it says, destroy them, verse 28. Israel then, okay, Deuteronomy 33 and 28. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also as heaven shall drop down dew. So the fountain of Jacob being the sons of Jacob, being the seed of Jacob, being the sperma of Jacob, okay, it's talking about Ban, son, okay? So those elect, the sons of Jacob, the sons of Israel, are going to be upon a land of corn and wine, which is going to be the ultimate rulership set up by Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, okay? It says, happy art thou, O Israel, verse 29, who is like unto thee, O people, saved by Yahweh, the shield of thy help, and and who is the sword of thy excellency. All right, that means the power. The Most High has the power. Okay, he is our weapon. Your weapon of mass destruction, Esau, Edom, is the sword. Our sword and weapon of mass destruction is Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's who we serve. A great and fearful, terrible, demonic-like power, man. The one that can end your life and end your spirit if he wanted to. It says, and who is the sword of thy excellency? All right, the executioner. It says, and thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. Which means what? Israel's going to have the rulership. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You see? So it's not about many nations, but about the elect, which comes out of the nation of Israel, which is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, until you scattered abroad, man. You know? So I hope this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakadash. All right? Abad Baba, death to America, death to Esau Edom, and shalom to Joachim and Joaqua. Shalom.